Look up at the sky during migration season, and you might see something strangely perfect. A group of birds gliding across the horizon, forming a giant V shape. It looks almost choreographed, like they planned it. But here's the mystery. Birds aren't following a leader giving commands. There's no bird in charge organizing the formation. And yet, thousands of flocks across the world use the exact same pattern. So why the V? At first glance, it might seem like a coincidence, but scientists eventually discovered that this formation is actually one of the most efficient flying strategies in nature. To understand why, we need to look at something invisible happening in the air. When a bird flaps its wings, it pushes air downward to generate lift. But this motion also creates swirling currents of air behind the wings, called wingtip vortices. Most of the air directly behind the bird creates drag, making flight harder. But just off to the side of those vortices is a small pocket of rising air, and that's the sweet spot. If another bird positions itself at exactly the right angle behind the first bird's wingtip, it can ride that upward moving air like a tiny invisible elevator. That lift reduces the effort needed to stay in the air. In other words, the bird behind gets a free boost. Multiply that across an entire flock, and the energy savings become huge. Studies of migrating geese suggest birds flying in a V formation can travel up to 70% farther than birds flying alone. But here's something even more fascinating. The birds aren't just randomly following each other. In 2001, scientists studying pelicans used GPS trackers and discovered something incredible. Birds in formation synchronize their wing flaps with the bird ahead of them. It's like a perfectly timed rhythm in the air, allowing each bird to maximize the lift from the one in front. Even more surprising, the bird at the front, the one working the hardest against the wind, doesn't stay there forever. When it gets tired, it falls back into the formation and another bird takes the lead. They rotate the hardest job. It's teamwork happening thousands of feet above the ground. But the story gets even more interesting. Some researchers believe the V formation might also help birds communicate and stay visually connected during long migrations. When birds spread out in this shape, every member of the flock can see the others more easily, helping them stay coordinated during journeys that can stretch thousands of miles. And these journeys are no small feat. One famous example is the bar-headed goose, a bird that migrates over the Himalayas, flying at altitudes above 20,000 feet, where oxygen levels are dangerously low. Even in those extreme conditions, they still use the V formation, which means what looks like a simple shape in the sky is actually a masterpiece of aerodynamics, cooperation, and survival. So the next time you see that V moving across the clouds, remember what you're really witnessing. Not just birds flying together, but a perfectly balanced system where physics and teamwork combine to help an entire flock cross continents. And here's something to think about. If birds figured out this energy-saving strategy thousands of years ago, what other solutions might nature already know that humans are still trying to discover?